Oh my god. We've done it. We have a second Pixarspective.
It has finally happened.
The second one of the year. And it's at the very last day of the year.
Literally, we're doing this New Year's Eve.
It's gonna come out like in a couple days into 2021. So spoilers for don't tell us any spoilers about what went down. But we've made it to the end of 2020.
Yes.
With a very special Pixar film, I suppose you can say.
Yeah, I would call it very special.
Yeah, it's special in many regards. Well, first off, I am the Wash.
And I'm Random Bystander here.
And I'm the captain of a pirate ship in the zone.
Yeah, the zone. The zone.
In the zone.
The pirate ship in AutoZone.
And then by day, you spin signs for AutoZone.
Yo, his boss, like, I
would not chill.
Yeah, what the
He's
hell?
like, you need to spin that sign. And I'm like,
I mean,
okay.
that's
It's like if it's you spin the sign like all the time, and you do a better job of it than anybody I've ever seen.
yeah.
You're a really terrible boss if you're punishing your good workers like that.
Before we start on the movie, this is first impressions. It's gonna be 98% unedited, 100% spoilers. We're gonna go completely deep into it. So, if you want to watch them, if you still haven't watched the movie, I can say first off, without going too much into it, I recommend watching this movie. I enjoyed this movie.
I do too, especially since unlike all the films on Pixar, you don't have to see it in theaters. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
so
that's the very special thing.
If you
about
have
it.
Disney Plus, which I'm sure if you are a viewer of Pixarspective, you do. Because
Wait, what happened to the movie theater?
Pulling my collar metaphorically.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Kirby fan. But yes, go watch Soul before you watch this. But after watching Soul,
I do
kind of
want to talk about,
comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, I do kind of want to talk about that aspect of it, that it is like direct to streaming for the very first time. But we can save that for a little bit later.
So, quick question before we start, since we did this with Onward, but unlike Onward, we weren't forced to do this. Did all of us watch Burrow?
Yes.
Yes.
I watched Burrow.
I watched Burrow.
Okay,
I
guess we could spend like a minute talking about it, I guess.
Okay,
I don't think it's really worth talking about. It's cute.
It's very cute.
It's very nice.
I also like the fact that it's 2D too.
Yeah, because this is part of something called the Spark Source, I believe is the term for it, where it's not even necessarily like Pixar technically. It's just like the Pixar employees. It's kind of doing what the source usually do, which is just try to like train some Pixarspective some Pixar trying to train like Pixar employees to become directors and writers in their own respect, and that's how we got like like Peter Stone and like all sorts of different directors like came out from the Pixar source, and so the Spark source is going to be something very similar to that. And in this case, this is a very nice story. It's very, very simple. It's a fairy tale, I would almost say. It's so simple.
Is this the Baby Driver of Pixar shorts?
Edgar Wright perspective never died.
Oh god. Here we go again. You guys want Pixarspective, and now you got it. Now you want Edgar Wright. You can't have
we already finished recording it, but we haven't gotten all the episodes out yet. Whoops.
Whoa. So you'll see that in time.
We'll get that in time. Don't worry.
Oh,
you're already tired.
No, I'm not tired. I just yawned.
I'm trying to think of how to bring Redline into this, because that's what we normally do.
Anyway, But yeah, Burrow was very cute. I almost forgot about him. If it weren't for the fact that Wash mentioned in our Discord,
Yeah.
I would not have watched it. So thank you for telling me about it.
Yeah, I honestly would have missed out on it too until somebody, because I just like mentioned offhand, hey, is there a short for this? And turns out, yes, there is.
I'm glad there is, because I don't think there was one for Onward.
No, there was. Remember, it was The Simpsons.
It was The Simpsons short.
Oh my god.
There
was one short without. There was one Pixar movie without a short.
Oh yeah,
Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4. That's right. I remember like when I first watched that, I was like, oh, that's weird. It feels weird.
You're like, wow, we're just getting straight. What?
Yeah, okay. It's like you're not getting like warmed up, and like I would have quite liked to see Burrow on the big screen.
Me too, but yeah, we can't. Because I have no doubt that if it weren't for the virus, this movie would have been on in theaters.
Oh, for sure. The short especially. The short was planned for for a theatrical release. Would have been quite a different sight for it because again it's completely 2D animated. It's I don't know. It's hard to say much more about it. It's a very touching story about like moving into a new place and meeting new people and just being kind of scared of the unknown. And and then everybody just helped along. I like the one. I can't remember what the species it was, but like they whenever the bunny was showing the map, there's always that one that had the pen ready.
Yes.
What was the one that the bunny was behind the door? The bunny was scared of.
The
what
badger.
animal was that?
It was a badger, right?
I think so.
It might have been a badger.
I like that.
Yeah, the one that just kind of like
did the scream at the end to alert everybody, right?
Yeah. They did the big
the badger.
roar.
Yeah. I like that one a lot.
Especially because like when he went into like opened up the door, it was just like a tired guy.
Yes.
It was nice. That was nice.
But then as soon as like the bunny explains the reason, and like the bunny like has this moment where they're like he like is like sobbing at one point, I think.
Oh
yeah, crying because he's so frustrated and that he made things worse. And then the badger's just like, and it was just
the bunny tries to hide and he's just like, no.
Oh yeah, he tries to like hide away. Like no, explain. Yeah, it was quite nice. It's again very simple story. It's very very cute story.
I definitely would take it over the Simpsons short.
Oh God,
me too.
God, yes, especially because it's just like it doesn't have the baggage that the Simpsons have.
Yeah,
like look. It's and it also just looks better.
Yeah,
it not.
Does.
It's still like digital 2D. It's not quite like it's not quite as like fresh as like a full blown like 2D Disney film, but it does its job and everyone's quite nice.
It's nice. It was a very nice short, and it was great to see an original short again.
Amen to that.
Yeah, well, let's forget talking about Soul. Let's just trash on modern Simpsons.
God, okay. Marge Simpsons. What has happened to her? Have anyone like listened to Marge Simpsons lately?
Oh, Homer.
It's even worse than that.
Yeah, like, I was gonna say it's actually not too far off.
Yeah, actually, like the amount of like you can hear the damage that playing Marge Simpson has done on that voice actress. Like she sounds horrific, and I use apologies to the actress, but good lord, you gotta.
This is where the 2% of the editing comes in.
Well, that sounds like a challenge to me.
Soul.
All right, so now we're done with this. Now we're done with the Simpsons. Let's talk about.
We're moving on to Soul.
Let's talk about Spy in Disguise with
Soul.
Will Smith as a pigeon.
Intro, Burrow, The Simpsons, Soul.
The The Simpsons Spy in Disguise, Soul. No, actually, intro, Edgar Wright, The Simpsons, Spurrow, SpongeBob, and
Spurrow.
So, what were we talked about this in the past? Like, what were we expecting out of Soul?
I had no idea what to expect. At one hand, it's a Pixar film that's directed by Pete Docter, and he is known for producing one of the studio's best work.
Mm-hmm.
And Up is considered one of the best. Inside Out is definitely considered one of the best, and is your favorite, I believe, Wash.
It is my favorite. And let's not forget Monsters Incorporated. Starting way
Monsters
back.
Incorporated too. Like he's literally known for, like producing stuff like one of the greatest hits. So, but on the other hand, I'm just like, it's 2020. And
it's 2020. I just want
2020 could still ruin my Pixar movie. So I didn't know what to expect, and I just wanted to go. I went in this with like little to no expectations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was very much the same. Like I was really trying to just keep the high. I like, you know, Pete Docter is one of my favorite directors. Like obviously, like you just listed out, just like top to bottom, like fantastic work. Even the stuff that's kind of middling, there's always something to just go wow at. And so I was just trying to keep the expectations low, especially because it's like this is comes up in brand new. At least it was brand new for Pixar.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. It was definitely interesting to just walk into it. It definitely felt weird when I was watching it on my computer.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later on. Kirby fan, what about you?
Much of the same boat. I wasn't really expecting anything too great or too bad. You know, you never go into anything with specific expectations.
Yeah.
Because you're going too negative, and of course you're going to dislike it. But you go into it too positive, and you set the bar too high. I was curious because Pixar and their OG directors have mostly been doing sequels, and their new directors haven't been making. I don't want to say they haven't been making the best of movies, but they haven't been making the most consistent, I guess, is a good way to put it. So this was something that could have been. I don't exactly know how to word it, but one of the originals coming back to make an original non-sequel movie. I was looking forward to that part. I was kind of nervous only because, you know, we got to stop relying on these same people.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
But also, you know, if it's a Pete Docter movie, I'll watch it. You know, you're not gonna. I'm not gonna not watch it.
Yeah,
I know this.
It's not like this is modern Simpsons or anything.
I know this is something that that Pete Docter had been developing for a very long time. I'm trying to remember when was the first time that we actually started hearing about.
I would say years, like sometime after Inside Out.
Yeah, like maybe
definitely
maybe
after Inside Out.
It might have been right after Inside Out. Yeah. It's just this idea that he's had for a long while. And I didn't do as much research, but like I was when I was talking with other people, I did find out some stuff about the movie, and maybe we'll talk about that soon enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was it was kind of a similar development with Inside Out, though maybe not. Well, actually, I was gonna say not as turbulent, but then the year started.
Yeah.
In fact, I found out that they're going to be producing a documentary of a making of Soul.
Oh.
Yeah.
I actually really want to see that.
Yeah, me too. Because it's specifically like how they managed to make Soul during 2020. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting in that respect. But that's the that was at least what we had going into it. Where do we start with Soul?
Let's start with the ending.
Yes.
What?
So the ending. Oh, the ending.
That's weird, but
the ending is like and maybe not controversial, but I did notice that some people weren't as. There were a couple people that was like, "Oh, I wanted to see more of the ending," and I disagree.
I mean, I get where they're going. We're actually doing this.
Guys,
okay,
I was kidding.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, we're actually doing this.
Yeah, that's the same thing that I thought. I was like, did they do realize that I'm me, right? Like, half of what I say is a joke.
I know.
But even then, Watch was just like, you know what? Maybe, all right, we can do this. And I'm like,
let's roll with it. Let's start. And this is crazy, and I'm kidding. Don't take me too seriously, but let's start with the beginning.
Okay, so the beginning of this is quite interesting because it's even more sudden than Coco. Like
I guess it's more sudden than Coco. Did you laugh as hard?
I just gotta say, it's so funny to hear the Disney music played by middle school band students.
Oh yeah, that was nice. I forgot about that.
At the start, I loved that. I loved that a lot.
That was really cute. And then you actually
I was like, why is this bad? And then it just then it showed Joe teaching at a middle school band, and I was just like, okay, that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
If anyone had even walked by a band class,
It's William Fancy Son from band class. We're tired, and we're still seriousness. I like that as a good opening though, because it does something with the logo and has fun with it, which they did that with a lot of things. They kind of did it with Inside Out with the music playing in the background of that Disney logo reveal. They did that with Coco with like a mariachi version playing.
With like a flamenco, flamenco cover, sort of.
But this is probably my favorite.
Yeah, this is one that fully relates to the story, which I quite like.
Yes,
I kind of prefer when you go into kind of the weird angle like that. Like do you remember like the intro for Atlantis, where it shows like the Disney logo, but it's like underground, and it looks like you're inside a cave, and you just see the Disney logo engraved on the wall, and it's just really spooky lighting, and it sets the mood really well, and I feel like that's what this was going for as well, because
music is a big part of the film.
Yeah, but when it gets to the Pixar logo, you don't hear the bouncing sound effects, so it's like the worst.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's like in there.
Unironically, I love it too. I can think of other like you said, it transitions into the story. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, that like you have to hear Joe saying, "Okay, let's try that again." let's not upset our overlords again. And a 1 and a 2.
I love when he starts playing music and he's talking about why music is good. He's like, Connie, you understand, right? I'm 12.
I'm 12. But it turns out she does understand.
She does. But later in the story, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Oh.
But one of the big things about this movie, along with the fact of like dealing with life and stuff, and one of the reasons I like it is because music is a huge part of it, and especially piano music.
Absolutely. And jazz music specifically. Yes. John Baptiste from Stay Human knocked it out of the park.
He's the one who did the soundtrack for this?
He's the one that did the jazz.
That explains so much.
He did the jazz specifically. The guy who did the soundtrack, like the overall soundtrack, is Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails.
What?
Yeah, he's just doing like movie soundtracks now. He did the.
I mean, okay, but like, this movie has 2 different soundtracks. It has New York City music and it has Inside Out music.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that a guy from 9 Inch Nails did the Inside Out portion of this movie?
Yes. I understand John Baptiste doing the jazz part, because if you've watched the Stephen Colbert show, or or if you watch Late Night with
we've
Stephen
watched
Colbert,
it live.
Yeah, we've watched it live, but that's another story. But
John Baptiste,
when you hear, I thought that music sounded familiar. I was like,
Yeah, you even get to hear John Baptiste's voice in the ending credits, and it's a lovely little like. I want to pick up that soundtrack a little soon because it's so lovely all around.
Yeah,
great.
This soundtrack is great. It's one of my favorite things about the film.
Yeah,
and especially growing up in a jazzy piano household. Well, like not real. Well, hold on. I love playing piano. I tried to learn piano. My grandfather actually, before I was born, he was a piano player. So when my mom watched this film, because she watched it shortly after I did, and I saw her reaction to it, she was just like saying that the piano playing reminded her of the days where my grandfather would play. And so
yeah, it is Pixar. They are very good at, if you're gonna make a movie about the piano or some people playing the piano, stuff like that, they're gonna go through the experience of what it's like to play the piano. One part that I really sorry, random. One part I really liked early on was when Joe Gardner was playing the piano for the first time in front of Dorothea Williams. When he was playing the piano, and you just see his fingers like moving across the piano, like somebody drawing a painting. It's just so effortlessly, so quickly, so realistically, just playing the piano.
It's so
I really like that.
It's so wonderful.
It's so.
It's like I was impressed. I was impressed with the visuals. The zone part was cool and everything. I just like the detail.
Oh yeah,
there's so much little detail into that, and it's the stylized version of that whole band scene in general, or all the band scenes really. They had a lot of color. They had a unique color to them. They had like unique like visuals of all the bandmates playing. And when you just see Joe in the zone, it just looks incredible. It looks incredible when he's playing that piano for the first time.
It's not just the piano, but I noticed also like the with the saxophone player and the trombonist, like you can tell that there was some details that they were making they're trying to do their absolute best to get it working. Like with the kind of finger action that you have to do on the saxophone to get all the different notes out of it, or the drummer doing like the more detailed sounds on the drums. Like I imagine they had to do like a ton of like recording of the instruments and then try to figure out how to get it looking right while still looking like Pixar, because you don't want it to just be like motion capture. Like it's still gotta look like a snappy cartoon, which is what it is. And they do a great balance of that. I haven't seen either of these films, but when I was talking with people, they said that this is like a way better jazz movie than La La Land or Whiplash.
I've seen neither, but yes.
Right. But yeah,
I can tell you already, yes.
Yeah. So that's
there's
that's as far as I know.
You can tell that there's a love letter to jazz in this movie.
Absolutely. Like they really take the time out with getting the jazz right.
Which is good, because you know me and music. I love music.
I love the music. This is so fantastic.
This is not a movie about Italian.
No.
How badly do you want to talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie? God.
You don't know.
Anyway, but yeah, that's the beginning of the film. Joe gets offered a full-time job as the musical as like a music instructor, which is great because he does technically get a job where he is doing music, but at the same time it's not what he wants to do. He wants to play jazz. He wants to do it, even though it's not a full-time job, and his mom gives him trouble about like, you need that full-time job, and I'm like, wow, why is this hitting me hard? This is a movie for kids. What are you doing? But in a good way.
Oh, arguably, we can talk about that soon. But yeah, go ahead.
But he performs in the gig with Dorothy Williams, and he gets the gig, and then there's this hilarious scene of him avoiding constant danger, like a cartoon.
Hey, buddy, look out! You're gonna get yourself killed.
And then he's able to do that, and then he falls down a manhole and dies.
And then the title starts.
Another casual Pixar's so casual with death.
And it's not
so I asked this before and nobody answered. Did you laugh as hard as that one as you did with Coco's?
No.
No.
Okay,
no,
good.
No.
Good.
But, I mean, first off, I was spoiled because they used this in the teaser trailer.
Yeah,
so I knew what was coming. But also it was just like I knew it was coming, but then it was like he died, and then the title started. I was like, oh yeah, we're at the start of the movie.
This is what the movie's about.
Yeah, yeah.
By the way, that whole animation for that title sequence.
Yes.
That's so good.
Yeah, like
it's so trippy. And I loved it. It was so good. It was just like, you could tell like they really experimented with this a bit because the concept of death is weird and stuff, and I imagine the transition would be. So like, I loved how they made that an opening credit sequence.
Yeah. It was definitely like, maybe we can talk about this with characters, but it's definitely like they were trying to pack like a lot of character into the first 3 minutes, and then the title starts. You already get quite a lot of his life already from just those 3 minutes, and then, in fact, the original plan for the movie was that like it was gonna take place entirely in the universe of Souls. You would not see planet Earth.
I am so glad they changed that.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Yeah.
That this movie would not be as good if it weren't for the jazz moments and seeing
or
it.
just the New York moment.
Yeah.
Oh God,
yeah.
New York
I'm not
so good.
This is gonna be Kirby fan with the Kirby fan hot take of 2020.
The last one.
But I was not the craziest about the soul bits.
Neither was I. I thought they were okay, but at the same time, I wanted to go to New York. Granted,
oh yeah, when the movie was in New
because
York,
I want to go back to New York, where how it was before the pandemic in real life, and it was nice seeing that city again in some way, shape, or form. But also, it was animated so well. There's one point where there's a shot of pepperoni pizza that looked real.
Yeah.
Well, it had to look real, otherwise you'd be questioning why you're living.
Yeah. Like they really gone. Like, do you remember what the pizza looked like in Inside Out? Like,
oh my God,
it just looked like gummy.
It did. It was also a bad pizza. That was California pizza. We had New York pizza.
Congratulations, San Francisco! You own pizza! Fuck the Hawaiians! And now you.
And now they've come a long way in Seoul where they got the pizza right. The pizza's been redeemed.
Finally, some good fucking pizza. I'm gonna bring back my New Yorker accent.
I'm going to the snack bar.
Hey, watch where you're fucking going,
Put the thing
pal.
away. There are like children here.
Dude, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? Having an existential crisis. Whatever. I'm in the subway.
Oh my God. Hey, what's we're gonna going back to, I guess, getting him. Joe dies, and
and he's on a conveyor belt.
And he goes in an escalator line to the great beyond.
Yeah,
which that's more where like heaven and hell is put into there. It is like I guess philosophied, because they did a good job of avoiding religion.
Yeah, it was. I hadn't realized until afterwards that it was like, oh, they completely like avoided that question of like afterlife, because you don't see the afterlife technically.
Yeah, we don't.
We see
in fact,
purgatory.
Joe avoids it, like, because he knows that's the forever end.
All we see is a blip.
Yeah.
Blip?
Yeah, when they die, they go blip.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like blip.tv. Good lord, what a throwback.
But yeah, that he literally like sees it, and some people are just like, all right, it's time for us to go, but he literally like fights it. He runs away, and eventually he runs like off of the. He
flips through the gate somehow.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah. This is my first complaint about the movie.
Yeah.
So they say later on that there hasn't been anything wrong with the Count for centuries. Is he really the first person to do this?
Yeah, I was about to say.
You gotta imagine, because when he's all panicked, there some old dead lady that sounds horrible to say, but she says, "Oh, was it sudden for you?" And then they start speaking Japanese, and I was like, "Damn, I don't need the subtitles for this. That's bad."
Oh, was it Japanese? Because the subtitles said, like
one of them was Japanese. I don't remember who.
Oh, okay.
I didn't need the subtitles. That's how I knew. But anyway,
yeah.
So he was freaking out. He was like, "It can't be my time," and then he falls through, and they're freaking out about the count. And I'm just thinking, there's no way he's the first person who died suddenly in centuries. Why does he get this thing where he? The first thing that I thought was, wow, that wasn't a wall. I was just under the impression that there was a wall, not like this gap of nothing. But that's a nitpick. What's not a nitpick is he's the first person in centuries to fall through. Like, how can you even fall through?
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
The closest thing that I really got was that number 22 at some point later in the movie says that, oh, this is all representational. This isn't actually anything really happening.
I was gonna mention that.
But, I mean, that still doesn't... So did he ever... I don't think... So you could argue that he never died, right?
So,
which is reasonable. Like, he never died. You could say that's just him... A visual metaphor of him fighting for his life, but like there are people here. This is real. This is happening.
Yeah, he was in a coma for at least the first half of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like it's a problem and you have to address it. But the more you think about it, the more convoluted and confusing the movie gets.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, don't think about it. But then like this whole other well of problems opens up, and it's just like, oh.
I will say how I interpreted it was like once you reach the great beyond, that's when you're like dead. Until then, you're like either in a coma or like on the verge of death. Mm-hmm. And once your soul leaves your body and you do go in the great beyond, there's no chance of it going back, so you're dead. But at the same time, they don't really focus much on that. Again, they focus more on like what happens before you become a soul. Because that's safer.
Definitely safer. And also, like, I didn't realize... suddenly, like, when we got to the credits and you saw all those little baby souls, I was like, oh, these are going to be toys, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They have to make merchandise somehow.
Yeah, it's like just like the huge head and the cute little eyes. Like, yep, we're back to Baby Dory again.
Yep, and hold on, it's better than Baby Dory.
It's better
At least
than
these
Baby
guys
Dory.
say hell.
They're not disgusting.
They're not offensive. They're not that great, but they're not offensive. It's a very simple design. It's a giant head with eyes and a tiny mouth. It's a baby.
But Joe does become part of the mentorship program where they mentor young souls to find their purpose and get their. I don't want to say it.
I almost fell. We were talking before this, and I almost fell into that exact same trap.
What?
I'm gonna say it. Where they
do you want me? Do you just want me to say it so you don't have to?
No, I'll do it. I gotta do it. Where they where they find their mark.
Number 22. I don't want that dumb mark anyway.
I never leave.
Good dinosaur never dies.
Joe Gardner. All right, hurry up and make your mark. I don't want that dumb mark anyway.
Honestly, though, that's the movie.
That's the movie.
But again, Pete Docter did it 10 times better.
Well, Pete Docter did it better because it wasn't 1-to-1.
Exactly.
And also, it's like it wasn't like the story was like flawed from the core.
Yeah. But basically, Joe winds up meeting 22, who's been a lost soul for a long time, like literally avoiding life in every way, shape, or form, and
lost soul by choice in this case. In fact, adding to what I was saying earlier with how this was originally going to take place in the Soul universe, 22 was originally the main character. And it would have been about 22's journey of trying to fit, of like, oh, I don't want to go to Earth because I've heard so many bad things about it. And as we were writing it, we were like, well, how do we like explain this without going to Earth? How do we explain how good? Because when you hear about how Earth is, it sounds awful.
Yeah, and that's why Joe was probably created to show like the joys of Earth, but also at the same time showing the not joys of it, because you start the movie in a middle school band room. So, but yeah, they basically have to work together in a classic Pixar duo and get Joe back into his body. And they do,
sort of,
maybe sort of at first. But before we talk about that, yeah, what did you guys think of the two main characters? I like.
Do we want to start with Joe, or do we want to start with number 22?
Joe. I want to start with Joe.
Okay, I like Joe.
I don't want to go first on this because there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad.
Really?
With Joe?
I mean, I don't think Joe is perfect, but I really like him as a Pixar character.
I want to like him, and then he just you two go first. You two go first. You two go first.
Wait, I think I know where you're going with this, but
I just want to I want to call it. Is it the go over there and forget? Is it that kind of problem?
Because it sounds
something
like
important. No.
Okay. Yeah. So I like Joe. I like Joe very much in this. I'll tell you, it hit hard when they were going through because again, it's like you cram up so much of his life in the first 3 minutes, then he dies and suddenly has to like experience this whole world, and then through that whole like museum of the self or whatever, you find out what his regular life is like, and he's just a lonely guy. It's just, and like seeing him like in a diner all by himself, it's like, ow. Why is this personal?
Yeah, I agree. I related a lot to Joe in that moment when he literally just goes, when he just watches his life pass by, and he just literally says, "My life is meaningless," and I'm like, "You're wrong," but at the same time, ouch, I felt that.
we're in that similar point of our lives right now.
Yeah, where we feel like we're just like running in a treadmill that's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
and if our last day was tomorrow, what it wouldn't feel like it was accomplished. And
yeah, ow.
Yeah, ow. So we were rooting for Joe the entire time because of that. Absolutely. And there were points where like and he like pressures 22 to like do things, and at the one point, and he does sometimes become a bit it becomes kind of like Woody, where like, no, Joe, we don't want you to like do this or pressure 22 or feel this way or scratch people as a kitten, which is a weird trope they do. But but also at the same time, it's pulled off better than Brother Bear and Brave. I will get to why. I think so anyway. But at the end, you really like identify with Joe and identify with what he wants, and that's the whole like driving forward in the film. I argue that I liked him more than 22, and some people have argued saying that he carries the film.
I would say so. I have my personal issues with 22, so but we'll save that for later. I would say that he carries the film. Yeah.
I have some mixed feelings about 22, but some good,
Same.
Some bad.
Same.
But
I guess for Joe, I said a lot of good and a lot of bad for Joe. Maybe it's a lot of good and enough bad. Maybe that's more accurate. 'Cause I like Joe too. I was just very frustrated with him at points. That's all.
Oh no, I understand where you were frustrated him. Like when the points were spoilers. They do go back to Earth. The only thing is, Joe is a cat.
Yeah.
And 22 is in Joe's body.
Yeah.
Which then you think, oh God, Brother Bear. Oh God.
And there are
Brave.
other body swap movies, you know.
There are other body swap movies.
I signed up for a movie by the soul, not a body swap movie. But
I was thinking of so many other movies before. I was thinking of Spy in Disguise before I thought of Brother Bear.
Well, you were thinking of Spies in Disguise before we started this.
Yes you were. But at the same time, it like goes through the tropes, but it kind of just gets them out of the way, right away.
That's true.
And then the whole movie is like, them trying to get their bodies swapped back by the
hippie.
by the hippie. I don't know his name.
Oh, I'll call him like Star Child. It's not Star Child, but I'll call him Star Child.
Okay, Star Child. And eventually, but the genius thing about this plot device and why they did it is because they did it so 22 could experience life. And through Joe's perspective, because that's the only way they would be able to truly experience and enjoy life. And I'll leave it at that because I want to hear Kirby's perspective on Joe before we talk about 22.
Okay.
So as far as what I like about Joe, I mean, you two nailed a lot of it already. And, you know, for what I didn't like about Joe, you know, Random definitely was right at that. It was, so when Joe ran to Earth early and how the body swap happened and everything, my problem with that, if okay, hold on, you two talk for a bit. I have to find this guy's name. Because I don't know what you two thought of the hippie. I thought he was hilarious.
I thought it was funny too.
Yeah.
I thought it was great too. I loved his design.
Yeah,
I love the mustache, but I don't know his name.
Moonwind. His name is
Moonwind. We were not too far off, actually.
No, yeah, I was gonna say Star Child Moonwind. That's really close.
I knew it would like that kind of stuff. Graham Norton? Wow. Okay, I did not
Who
think.
is he?
So when Joe
anyway.
was trying to go back to Earth and Moonwind is telling him what he needs to do, and he gets excited, he tries to go back, and Moonwind goes, slow down, you can't speed up, can't make this process go too fast. And then he speeds it up and makes the process go too fast. It's all stuff like that. It's all stuff how
I missed
he's
that.
so... No, you don't miss that. That's
No,
the whole reason why the body swap happens, because he rushes it after explicitly being told not to rush it. Only the second time, he doesn't listen. The first time he listens just fine. The second time he says, no.
I got it.
And then just does it anyway. And I get it, he's in a hurry to get back, but these random bursts of aggression that he has, but like this mean aggression almost. Like when he's just yelling at people being angry. Like in the beginning of the movie when, you know, he's talking to the principal and he's like, oh, these students are you know, you can hear they're not good. The kid goes, hey, he goes, not you, you're great. He's not. Like, that's fun. That's just, you know, light teasing. But then when there's like number 22 and he's just like, all right, well, whatever. I just got to get back. Or when Moonwind is telling him how to get back and he just rushes it. Or when number 22 is in his body and he's just freaking. And I get that he's mad. I get that. You know, I watched Inside Out. I know how emotions are. But it's so much of him in the movie is him just being like really mean.
Yeah.
And I like it, and I think it's balanced out well. Well, okay, no, I don't like it, but I think it's balanced out well enough by, you know, the rest of his character. It at least makes him seem like a character, not just, you know, oh, he's not just nice, he's not just mean. But hey, like, really mean, aggressive characters are not things that I'm particularly fond of. And it especially hurts when he has the moments where it's like, oh, you know, he's a cool guy, or, oh man, I really want to see him get back so that he can get this role, he can get this gig. I'm going to say role like a million times because it's basically auditioning for roles. It's basically what this is. But it's just he's so like mean sometimes.
I think what, like, part of what made that like kind of frustrating with that, it was very clearly like it was a choice made to move the plot going.
Yes.
That like if he just like if he was patient, the movie would have been over.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, I mean, if that's your defense, then you know it's again. I will say this much. This is a problem with the Seoul portion of the movie, not the New York portion of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can I have my defense for Joe?
Go ahead.
What was Joe's day like? He was having a great day. He finally get the gig that he's been dreaming of for years. Years since his father took him to a jazz club when he was a kid. He finally gets that gig, and then immediately he dies.
Yeah.
And he loses that gig. I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
He dies, and he does have the slimmest chance of getting back and doing his gig and following his dream. But it seems like every turn something is in the way, and he sees he sees his life literally flash before his eyes, and how like he didn't get a chance to live his life, and he believes that the way fate has intended, he's going down with ever achieving his dream. If I were in Joe's shoes, I would be very mad and desperate to cling on to some life to get my dream to come true.
You can definitely, yeah.
So that's why, I don't know if that doesn't make it right. Like, I don't wish that he did that, but I could see where he's coming from.
Yeah, you can definitely...
Yeah, there's a lot more to say about something like this than other jerks.
Yeah.
And I still wouldn't go as far as to quite call him a jerk.
It's clear
it's just there are some points where it's like, ooh,
it's more like
our main character is saying this. Like when I think her name was Connie. Like when this is actually a New York bit. When Connie came over for the lessons, that's her name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, when she came over for the lessons, and his response is, "Ugh, I don't have time for this," and then she's talking about how she wants to quit, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." It's just like that's our main character.
No, he's so focused. He's so like focused on this dream. Like you know how they explain in the Soul version at one point that there's like lost souls, which are not the little ones. They are.
Oh.
They are like the lost souls are like the ones who are like in these gray, dark, like sand pits.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a theory that Joe was one of those souls before he died.
Oh yeah, that's definitely how I interpreted it.
I honestly thought I was waiting. I don't think they ever quite made that connection, but I was expecting like Joe, because so much of this was just Joe being like focused on like I gotta do jazz. I mean I gotta get the gig. I gotta get the gig. And I was full expecting it to actually just make that connection. They never did, and I'm glad they didn't, because it was good enough just on its own. Just like the parallels between Joe's like obsession with the gig and the what was it, the hedge fund manager who's like, I gotta make a sale.
God,
make a sale.
That was too real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the guy just
working.
I was gonna say he tore apart the office.
Yeah, like good for him.
Yeah, I was like, you have no idea how much I was like, God, I wish I could do that.
I know.
What am I doing with my life?
I'm free.
You're all free.
And everyone's just like, I gotta get my paycheck.
That was so satisfying to see.
Everybody looked so uncomfortable.
That was great, though. Who voiced that guy? Was that Pete Docter?
I don't see Pete Docter in the credits. I'm sure that there's some sort of... Oh, the stockbroker is voiced by Jason Pace? I never heard of this guy. He was in Cars.
Familiar. Wait. Who is John Ratzenberger?
John Ratzenberger was a guy on the subway.
Apparently, who says, "Hey, take it easy, eh?"
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. He actually is uncredited on IMDb.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that's just IMDb not knowing who he is.
No, I think it's that like the credits didn't list him,
which is weird.
Yeah.
I guess they're just like hiding it more and more. It's better and better.
It's now becoming a true Pixar secret.
The next step is just not having him in the movie at all.
I mean, they're not going to do that until he dies. So until he gets his own soul.
Oh,
wait, are you saying he doesn't have a soul right now?
No, I'm just saying that when his soul is gone and it goes to the great beyond, until then, he's contracted with Pixar to be in every single film, even if it's just one line. Anyway, that was your thoughts. Anything else to say about Joe?
It was very. I did want to say that it was very clear, like that they chose the character motivations very carefully. That they wanted to make sure that they had they set up the Earth badge. That's like when a baby soul has learned enough, then they get an Earth badge and they can they have a pass to go to the go back to the planet or start a new life in this case. And when that was first set up, when I was first hearing about that, a year ago at this point, I thought this setup was gonna be that he was. I thought it was gonna end with Joe reborn as a baby. I thought they were gonna go that far.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. 22 would take over his body and he would start over.
Yeah,
that's actually what I was expecting for not long, but a little bit.
Yeah,
and I was like, that would be hella convoluted, and I did not know what I was gonna think about it. But luckily, that's not where they went.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't, because
I mean, I have my own confusions about how the movie ended, but we'll get to that.
Oh yes. I think I know what you're talking about, but
I think I know what you're going about too.
Yeah. But anyway, with the
22.
Well, I was gonna mention that they picked their motivations very, very carefully. That Joe Gardner really wants to get the Earth badge, and 22 really wants off the Earth badge. And then once they get once they get back to Earth, then 22 has some changes of motivation. Speaking of. Tina Fey is in this.
I don't know about you, but I'm mad with 22.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I agree with you guys.
No, I don't
think it was Tina Fey's fault. I think the performance is good. I think the character is
yeah, this is the thing. I don't hate her.
I think the voice direction is
Yeah, I
can't get into the character very much with Tina Fey. It was just something about it reminded me of speaking of Tina Fey, her friend Amy Poehler in Inside Out. If it wasn't for that performance, that character could have easily teetered off into what a asshole. And you needed to strike that balance real well, and I don't feel like Tina Fey had hit it. And I think that's part of it could be part Tina Fey, and it could be part direction. That they didn't know how to handle this character.
I mean, to be fair, Tina Fey I think she does the best she can, because she always does. She just plays the character.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's Tina Fey. But she still does a good job. She still has some funny lines. She's the comic relief of the film.
Yeah, and 100%.
And when I say meh, I don't think she's that bad at all. I don't hate her at all. She has some problems, and I like Joe better. But at the same time, she made me laugh, and there was even some moments where she got a little emotional too. And I was like, wow, they're doing this with this character? Because I thought it would be comic relief through and through, but no, she actually has an arc of her own. Where she...
Let me forget. Well, probably my favorite part of the whole movie. We'll get into what you two are. This I have to bring this up now if we're going to talk about 22 and her less serious... Not even her more emotional moments, but just her less funny ones, is when Joe is trying to cut his hair. I don't know how you would pronoun that. But Joe's trying to cut his hair, and he messes up, breaks the razor, and they have to go to Dez's, that's his name. They have to go to Dez's to get the haircut.
The barbershop scene.
The barbershop. That was my favorite part of the movie, top to bottom. I loved that part.
I was so worried about that part at first.
I know, me too.
I was like,
me too. I was like, oh no, I know exactly what this is going to be. And then it was the best part of the whole movie.
It really was one of the best parts of the movie. I don't know if I call it the best, but it was one of the best.
I mean, this is a movie that has multiple different, this could be the best. But I've been thinking about this for a while, and, that scene is still vividly fresh in my mind.
You think it's going to be
so
this
good.
whole thing about, where Joe guides 22 on what to say. But no, 22 does their own thing, and it works.
And it works. I love when they leave, and 22 says, "Hey, how come we never talked about anything other than jazz before? This was great." And Des just says, "You never asked."
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was so focused on jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is, you know, as, I don't know, conversational life advice, that's just a great bit, but also for the story.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Oh my god.
And it leads very well into, this is another one of the best parts of the movie, when they go to Joe's mom's to get the suit fixed.
That hit hard.
Now, I mean, 22 started it, but now it's Joe guiding the conversation. Yeah. This is what Joe has had bottled up inside all this time. And now, because of what he's learned by seeing 22 in his body, he can actually speak up and just speak his mind. And it works, and it actually works.
What I really liked about that scene, especially, is that for the majority of the time in that portion of the movie where 22 is in Joe's body, you see Joe and you hear 22. And in that particular moment, it starts out, you hear 22 and Joe as a cat guiding her each step of the way, and then it transitions over and you only hear Joe, because this is what the mother is hearing, and at the same time this is Joe's side of the story. This is what Joe
this is what Joe's saying, not 22.
Yeah. And I thought that pulled it off really well. Just how
well.
Yeah.
I typically really don't like it when body swap. I know body swap, whatever. But when body swap movies are like, oh, person A is in person B's body, but they have person A's voice. I never like that. I always think it's kind of like not great. I feel like it's a nitpick. It's just something I really typically don't like. I remember bringing this up in Your Name, how I loved that, you know, the actors actually had to flex a bit. But for that scene, it's like, damn, was it worth it? I think it was worth it.
That was honestly, the scene with the mother is...
Oh, that's one of the best scenes in the whole movie.
That's one of the best scenes in the whole movie.
That's another one of those ones that it's like, it's not as vividly fresh in my mind, but it hasn't left.
Like not only that, but during this conversation, like the two women working at the store are leaning into the door, like listening in, and then the mother opens the door and one of them falls over. That was great. That got a great laugh out of it.
This is back to the barbershop scene, but one of my biggest, while we're talking about laughs, when 22 disses Paul, he walks out of the store and goes, "That cut deep."
Fun fact, Paul is actually voiced by David David. Hold on, let me get his name right.
Danny DeVito?
David Diggs?
David Diggs, yes.
Yes, the guy from Hamilton and from Clippings.
Yes, he was from Hamilton.
Yeah.
And not only that, there's a point where there's a rap in Joe's life where he like was in a young rap group with his like friends, and guess who sings in that rap? David.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, was he the guy that actually played Hamilton? Or was it?
No,
okay.
He played,
okay, good. Only because I remember when I had listened to Hamilton for a theater class, the people in my group were like, if you don't like the singer for Hamilton, that's fine.
No, it was the
like,
guy.
Even fans of Hamilton don't like his singing.
Yeah,
like, that's what I've gathered.
No, I love Lin-Manuel Miranda, but not for his singing abilities. I love him because he can do what Angela Lansbury does, which is act sing. Which means he doesn't have the best singing quality, but he will act as hard as he can to make those lines work, and it works.
Yeah.
But anyway, David played Thomas Jefferson and Lafayette, and he sings / raps, and you just listen to like one of the songs with him as Thomas Jefferson, and you'll recognize the voice. And there was that whole moment with a character we didn't really talk about where Paul gets like murdered by
I wrote that down. He has a near-death experience.
And now he'll never eat processed foods again.
So that was funny and everything, but I was like actively screaming when that happened because they make it a point to say like 3 different times, Make sure nobody sees you. Make sure nobody sees you. You have to make sure nobody sees you. And then the wrong person sees him and they don't do anything with it.
Well, I mean, who's gonna account for the accountant, right?
Yeah, like, exactly.
But they don't do anything with it.
Who are they gonna? Because that's the thing, is that like.
But then why do they bring it up like 10 times?
There's like an implication that it's all like a hive mind because everybody they call each other Jerry except Terry.
Yeah,
I like that. It's like this is the one that just it's like nobody likes this guy.
No,
you're not a Jerry. You're a Terry.
Terry's the coworker everybody takes themselves way too seriously. Like
it should have been reversed because Jerry is the name of the guy that you hate.
I know.
I don't know why the Jerrys are the cool people and Terry.
I really like the Jerrys. I especially like the one voiced by, I'm gonna butcher this, Richard Ayoade.
Yeah, the guy from IT from the IT crowd,
is that the one? Is that the one with the soft British accent?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
okay. So I don't know. Like, there's very little about the character that I mostly remember, but everything I remember is from the voice.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like another. It's. I will say it's better than this, but it's another Duke Kaboom. Where I mean, Duke Kaboom just had like nothing.
Yeah.
This guy at least had like a tinge of sass to him, some funny one-off moments, like fine. But the voice.
Absolutely. It's the
oh
same.
My God, I loved that voice.
If you've ever seen Apple and Onion, he's Onion. That's the same guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the same guy.
Oh, wow. Okay, all right. We're ending this here. I'm going to watch Apple and Onion. Bye, guys.
Yeah, I love Apple and Onion, and like Onion is he's so cute in that show. And Richard Ayoade, I hope I got that.
Yeah.
It did knocked it out of the park with that performance, especially like at the very end, the very end where they go. It's like they send Joe back and they set up an award show at Terry's request and he specifically
this
says,
trophy that you requested.
and they're still trying to be like positive about it, but it's just, like
everyone's like faking a smile while they're applauding.
like these are the happiest councils, and even they're trying. They cannot try hard enough to call the bullshit.
I really like the one Jerry, the one at the beginning when Joe is trying to fake being a mentor, and he says, "You know, I don't think this mentor thing is really what I need to do." And the one Jerry just goes, "Well, you could always go to the great beyond." Like, if you're not gonna do your job, just die. It made me laugh so hard.
I love how they're just casual about it.
Yeah, look, I obviously I have made it pretty clear that I have a lot of complaints about the soul portion, but I appreciate the Jerrys, and you know what? Even the Terry.
I like Terry too.
I like Terry too. I think all the counselors I really enjoyed.
I love how
first of all, this has nothing to do with the movie. It's not a perk of the movie. I guess it's like a perk of Pete Doctor, if anything else. But the villain, it's just a villain. He's not a twist.
Yeah. They're not even a villain. They're just an annoyance.
Yeah, like antagonist. Technically, like antagonist is giving him too much credit.
It's kind of like it's a villain in the same way that like the hurricane from Up,
but I'm not sure.
Well, so here's the thing about like I said with the him pronouns,
deities,
but
though, so
yeah, I was just gonna say they pronouns would be better, right?
Yeah,
they're not go for gender. They're it's like how 22. I mean, I would probably even say that about 22 because 22 brings up very early on that it's just the voice that this voice is annoying. I'm gonna go with it. I can be whatever voice I want. I'm just a construct. So 22 would be. There were a lot of days. There are a lot of days.
Yeah, there are a lot of. You can argue most of the people in the Soul universe are they.
I think everybody in the Soul, except for Joe, of course. But I think, and I guess
who's the guy and the hippie?
Oh yeah.
Well, the hippies have actual like real life. Those are people that live in the real world.
Yeah.
So how did they find out about the zone?
They just got into it.
They like meditate. They exist in the zone. Are you talking about like the main characters? I think they just
no, I'm talking about the hippies. Like how
because they're hippies and they got way too into the zone.
Exactly. I think they have like
implied.
Control of the mind and they control of the soul.
I guess.
I think that's what
I'll take it. I'm not crazy about that.
Again, it's heavily. There's so much about this movie that's like not spelled out for you.
Yeah, and I love that. And most other instances, it's like, I'm okay with it unless it's like, stupid. But it's I don't know. It's just weird because is it like only these three? Okay. No. Take that part back. Take that part back. I take that part back.
I will say, going back to Terry,
yes,
I love how the reason like she doesn't come in till later is because she spends literally checking every single file for all the souls.
Oh, there are a lot of Garcias.
A lot of Garcias.
It's so.
I love when they find Joe Gardner and they're all proud of it. They're telling the other Jerrys about, hey, I found the file, and they're like, oh, cool.
I'm so happy for you.
That's literally what it is.
That's great, Terry. I'm so they were so condescending with that voice. That's so great for you.
And you know what the best thing is about the whole thing? They're just constructs because the feeble mortal mind cannot comprehend them. But specifically, Terry is shorter than everybody else.
Yes. What was I gonna say? Well, I remember watching in the trailers. They made a big deal about Terry saying the count is off.
Oh, okay.
And,
I didn't
and
even
literally
watch
in the movie, they're like, we get to that line, and just Jerry goes, "Oh, that's weird."
yeah, like who cares? It's one person. Who cares?
More of like a setup. It's just a setup for the ending where they just explain away the. I'm jumping way ahead with the ending. And I'm sure we have
that's probably like the one part of the ending where it's like, nope, I would not change anything about this.
The one scene that I wouldn't change of the ending would definitely just like, that's weird. Hey, look over there.
What?
I don't know. What were you talking about?
What were we even talking
about? No, yeah, we were talking. Count's fine.
I love that. Were you even talking?
Like this deity has been keeping tally of this for literal, like, probably billions of years at this point, and they're that incompetent. That's so funny to me.
Like, I
love that.
Yeah.
Especially they think the world and more of themselves. They think like the universe of themselves, but they actually kind of suck at their job. It's so good.
It's really. It's a fun joke. And also Terry, if you stick around for the end credits, he shows up right at the end.
Yeah, movie's over. Go.
Yeah, that joke would probably work better if I wasn't in my bedroom.
Yeah,
it would work
if I wasn't already home.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They do specifically say go home. That's fair.
Yeah, he specifically said go home.
Go home. I am home.
Yeah. They're doing like a Ferris Bueller thing, and it's like that works in very specific context.
I think it would have worked if we were in a movie theater, but
it would have without a doubt.
I feel like I would
also couldn't have been like, well, go back to bed.
yeah,
because then I would have aged weirdly when
go back to bed in the movie theater.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, they make those seats comfortable now, you know?
Yeah.
Also,
you sleep through the movie, you wake up, Terry says go to bed. Alright, okay.
Alright, here I go.
The real thing is, why didn't Terry ask, are you okay?
But, hey, and one of our podcast members is not gonna get that.
It's alright, they had no idea. Anyway.
I get it.
Fun fact about Terry, she's also voiced by the grandmother in Moana. I'm not sure.
So Wash is referring to Terry as he. Random is referring to Terry as she. I'm referring to Terry as they.
I said Terry is voiced by the voice actor who played the grandmother in Moana.
I'm just saying. I just think it's funny that. That's cool.
Neat.
I haven't seen Moana, but
I haven't. I have seen Moana. I don't remember that character. I barely remember the character.
Yep, it took you a minute, didn't it? It's okay. Anyway, we've been going for about over an hour now, so let's continue on. I guess with. Is there anything else we need to say about like the movie?
Oh yeah,
we talked about.
I'm sure there's a ton more.
Oh, there's a lot. We were. Did we finish talking about 22? I actually don't remember.
Not really.
We were just like,
not really. We kind of stopped. But I guess we'll bring this up. My favorite part about 22 is that we see her learn to become, even though she does play as this very extremely cynical, side character, she learns to love life, and not like because she has a specific purpose in mind either. Because Joe's like, you gotta find your purpose. You gotta find your purpose. You gotta find something you gotta do. Even the souls are like, you gotta find what really inspires you in life. Or the Jerrys are like that. But she just likes life for the little things, like eating pizza, hearing music, talking to people about their lives.
I could walk. I'm really good at that.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like that's more like regular life things or something like that, and that's the line that bites him in the butt later on when he's like thinking about that. It's like, oh, that's always the whole point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
just like the wonder of that just seems so blasé.
And at first we don't think anything of it because we're like, yeah, that's really nothing much, because a lot of people take that stuff for granted, including me and everybody here, I imagine. But at the same time, yes, it does bite Joe in the ass.
Yeah.
Later, and
especially like the sight of the leaf falling.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I feel like I wanted to mention this earlier, that I feel like there's so many moments like that would have been breathtaking in a bigger screen.
I know.
Like I wish I at least had like a larger TV or something like that.
I'm not gonna lie, I watched it on my big monitor and it did help a little bit, but it's not the same.
Yeah,
but there's nothing we can do. Maybe they'll re-release it in theaters when
we just gotta get bigger TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put in another. I don't know how much are TVs these days.
A lot.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Anyway.
But yeah, then we see her like, and then she's at the point where she like afraid of, and she doesn't want to go back, and she wants to continue living life. And she doesn't want to go back to the youth seminar.
And then she runs away with Joe's body.
Yep, and then Terry catches her. Catches them. And then they catch both of them. And then there's a moment where they like, I don't want that dumb mark anyway. But this one's actually done a lot better. And not done in between like 5 seconds.
Yeah, there is still a little too much of the moping and doping when you know they're gonna make up. It has more of a purpose in the story.
Yeah,
I will say this one isn't a problem with the. I don't know if it's a problem with the movie or not, because it's so overdone and it doesn't really do anything new with it.
Yeah,
but it does serve the story and it does serve for a powerful message. So it's like, I know I don't like it. But is it a problem with the movie? I can't answer that.
I don't think it's a problem with this movie. I think it's just a thing that we've seen in so many movies. They're like, okay, they're doing this, but I guess they have to do it. I mean, I will say. Okay. Oh no, you go, Wash.
I did want to, because this was something that is like when I was watching it was like, oh okay, because they go the separate ways. He returns back to his body. He gets the gig. And what I was expecting, because they were doing a lot of setup for that zone, and I was expecting, like, him playing the music, him getting into the zone, and he, like, as he's in the zone, he sees 22 in misery, because 22 goes off to the zone area, and like, I'm hopeless, I'm no good. And so I was expecting that. It didn't happen. He just continued on with the gig. And then the gig finished, and it was just like, now what?
Yeah, because that happens. Because especially when you like reach your goal in life, like you've like, wow, I finally hit this milestone, or wow, I finally did this. I finally accomplished this in my bucket list. That's what life is, and you're like, what do I do now? Because usually in movies or like television or books, like once they reach that goal, that's the end of the book. But then like there's still like years and years of your life left, and now what do you do?
I had that exact same experience with a musical performance, no less. I got to DJ once, and it was the DJ for like the college TV show. So like barely anybody saw it, but the people who saw it, they loved it. They thought I did a great job, and I was feeling like I was feeling like $1,000,000. And then I walked to the cafeteria and I ate dinner by myself, and I was just like. It felt so like self-centered to be like, why isn't anyone else celebrating this with me?
No, that's understandable because I felt that too in many different occasions. I'm trying to think of a good example of that.
It's like these are like people who would never even been inside the TV studio. Like, why would they even think that I was having like the best night of my life?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like you have that like that $1,000,000 moment, and then you just go back.
What's next?
You just tell the same you.
Yeah, because in the end, these amazing moments can happen with you in your life, but at the same time, it's not the end. There's still more to life. Your life crave more things to do, more things to accomplish. And I think, and it was very interesting to see them take the now what route with this, because they could have been like where he does his gig and then he talks to them, and then he like goes into the zone, and then it ends with him happily ever after achieving his gig. But like they didn't do that. They literally play with the idea of like, and now you did it, and he literally says, I don't know why I feel like I should be happier or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Dorothea
like,
Williams tells a story about the fish. I can't remember the story very well, mostly because I didn't.
There is a young fish swimming in the ocean, searching for the ocean. He asks an older fish, "Where's the ocean?" The older fish says, "The ocean. This is the ocean." The younger fish says, "Really? This is the ocean? No way, this can't be the ocean. Where is the ocean?" The older fish says, "You're swimming in it. See you tomorrow."
Yeah, he was like, "No, this is the ocean. This isn't the ocean. This is water. Where is the ocean?"
Yeah, thank you. This is the ocean. This is water.
Right. Okay.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Yeah, it just left it at that point. It just like, this is water, and it's like, so it's
now what?
So now what?
And then we get to probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie, which is just like this moment where, yes, there is some moping and doping. I will admit that, but you almost feel like I felt confused. Because a part of me was like, I know, why are we feeling this? He just achieved his dream. Why? But at the same time, we've all felt this moment where we're like, we achieved our dream, and now it doesn't feel. We thought that would be the end of things. Like, okay, my life's set from here, but no, there's more to do.
Mm-hmm.
And why aren't I feeling as happy as I should be?
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to this moment where like he starts playing the piano.
It takes a lot. It takes a while. They really like sit on this. Like,
yeah,
like they.
There's a moment to sit on. This is the moment.
Yeah,
honestly, yes.
Like they really take their time. There's no dialogue. It's just him in front of the piano, just kind of like pacing it out, looking at the object, just kind of just thinking about like thinking about everything. I said there's no dialogue, but he does have like flashbacks to earlier parts of the movie. But then he's just kind of like putting the pieces together as he's playing his music, and it's like, okay, there we go.
Then we see just fragments of his life that we didn't even see in the movie, like
mm-hmm.
him bonding with his dad, him at the beach.
The bonding with the dad was so nice. Seeing him play the piano with the dad sitting next to him. Oh my god!
Yes,
that was so good. That's a great touching moment.
It's just like you literally see him like cry, just remembering all the little moments in life that he forgot about
mm-hmm.
because he was so obsessed with his goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then he realizes that like life isn't about like you achieve a goal and then you're done. Life and he learns what 22 experienced. Learning about life or having a purpose in life is like can be the little things in life. Like you can enjoy your purpose can involve, or you can be excited for like the very little things in life, like eating pizza or going for a walk or little things like that. And even though you may not be like working to achieve a certain big momentous goal, you could still love and enjoy life and enjoy every minute of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was expecting a moment to cry in this film near the end. I didn't.
I didn't either.
But this was the moment where I got a bit teary-eyed a bit.
I did. I also was expecting to cry, and I did not cry.
No, like I did cry at this specific moment. I just didn't cry at the end because I didn't think the end was worth crying. Not it wasn't worth crying for, but just like it didn't. Wow. It didn't. Yeah,
we're so close. I'm trying to hold back from just my confusion about the ending. I did cry as well.
I cried at this specific part because one, it's a beautiful scene with no dialogue, and you know Pixar's great at those. You know Pete Docter's great at those.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's just such a beautiful moment with the music and the fact that it's literally so relatable, and it like makes you think back about all the moments in your life that you may have missed out on, or all the fun little moments that were made life worth living. And it just hit me emotionally. And I'm not exactly sure why yet. I think I need to watch the film again to find out, but I believe
I mean, it's very deep, and it's something that resonates with a lot of people that you don't hear talked about very often. It's just like with Inside Out, how we were all freaking out about how, oh my god, sadness is healthy.
Yeah.
In this movie, it's like, oh my god,
the little things in life matter.
What you just said.
Yeah,
the little things in life matter.
Yeah,
and are worth living.
And I mean, you know, to give some more credit, you know, same thing with Up. Oh my god, live your life. Don't live in the past. Live in the present.
Go make your own adventures.
Yeah, go make your own adventures. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something for Monsters Inc. Nothing's coming to me yet, but
no, they don't. Not really anything.
Mike Wazowski.
That works.
How many kids you got in there? When Mike said that, I cry too.
Not important. The law of friendship.
All right. So, and then he
Baby
gets
Driver.
And then he gets. You know, Jamie Foxx plays Joe.
Yeah,
anyway,
yes. Oh, I forgot to bring that up. Yes, more Baby Driver.
Yeah,
still no red line.
Yep. And I like Jamie Foxx's character in this much more. And he didn't deserve to die.
And you know what, Random? I will give you this. There is nothing that Joe Gardner does that merits him causing another person to go to jail.
I agree.
We can agree on this, and we can end it here this time.
Yes.
Moving on.
All right.
That episode hasn't
no
come
one
out
knows
yet.
what we're talking about.
Nobody knows what we're talking about yet.
But
that episode will come out. Don't worry.
I'm glad it ended before it started. Then.
Yes, me too. Moving on.
The climax. I thought it was all right.
So,
but at the same time, continue.
So when he was playing the piano and he went into the zone, I was like, oh, okay. So he's using this kind of in the same way that Moonwind and the hippies do it. You know, he's mastered the zone experience and all that, so he can use that to come in here. That's brilliant. And like the background music, that's him playing the piano. Like his emotions, 22's emotions, that's what he's expressing on the piano. Brilliant. Turns out that no, when he went into the zone, he died?
Yeah.
He just went into another coma? And when they were back at the soul part and 22 was leaving, they were like, if you do this, then you can't go back. I'm like, what the hell? What happened? When did he... I was so confused at that point. It's like you literally had something great here, and now it's just like, what?
Like, he played music so well that he just killed.
Okay. Here's what happened. Rob, the guy that got replaced, comes in and he's like, "You took my job." Kills him, leaves, sees Joe walk out the next morning, is like, "What the hell?" Pixar, you can hire me.
I think it was more like the deities caught him, and that's why he worried about having to go back. But I see your problem.
At what point was he no longer in the zone? Because the implication here is that he can, because of people like Moonwind, he can not so much do it like they can, but he went to the zone knowingly. That's part of why he played the piano, so he could give 22 the leaf and say, you know, life's worth living, to that reminder. But no, it's like he died?
Yeah, I remember having that same realization after the movie, which just like, wait a minute.
It's just it's another one of those things that it's like, it's just the more that, it's not a nitpick, but the more that you think about it, the more confusing the whole thing just gets. So it's like, you don't want to think about it, but if you don't think about it, you just have to accept, like, all right, well, this climax just immediately has this glaring flaw in it.
It's more that, like, there's just something that just got skipped over, which was the implication that, because it was implying that him playing music was not just teleporting. Him playing music was sacrifice. He was sacrificing himself.
Oh yeah, it's like, hello?
Like, that's a blood ritual.
When was this a part of the movie? Like, what did I miss here? I thought I paid pretty good attention watching this one. It was, I know I did a good job paying attention because we were doing Pixarspective. I ain't gonna fall behind on that. But also, I'm like, did I actually miss something? Because this is just, it's confusing.
I'm
like,
sure,
how does this work?
Yeah.
Why is it that when he plays the piano and falls into the zone, he just croaks, but the hippies are okay? It took me out of it. Like, you two might have other problems with the climax. If you do, you can go ahead, but it's like, I zoned out. I mean, because, you know, zoned out is wordplay, I didn't actually zone out.
I know.
But I was so confused the whole time. I'm just, well, I mean, at first, you know, like I said, I was really into it. Like, he's literally playing the background music. I'm like, I love that. But once, you know, they left the zone, and I'm like, wait a minute, is he going to be able to go back? And then they were like, oh, but you're not going to be able to go back. And I'm like, but this doesn't.
It may be implied that he was willing to do that sacrifice, but it's not. I don't know how he would know that was a sacrifice.
Who knew piano playing? Who knew music could be so killer?
Oh.
That was a killer track, man. That was the killer track.
No, my last gig. So you two can have the rest of the climax, because I straight up don't have anything else to say. At that point, I was just too confused to care.
I didn't really overthink it that much, because even though I probably should have, because
if it was, it's just one last thing, you reminded me. If it was like a little thing, like the voice swap thing that I was talking about before, how normally that annoys me, it's like, okay, but the movie's good, so it's fine. Here, it's like, it's pretty big.
Yeah, this is actually like connected to the plot. Like, this is how we actually got back into the before life, I guess, in this case. And it's like, are you sure?
It's done for the sake of plot conveniency, and that's the only way. Like, he can go back to 22 because he's not gonna kill himself.
But he did.
Apparently, he did.
He did.
But yet, like, he's not going to do it in another way.
He threw arsenic on the piano and inhaled it while he was playing. I don't know.
He had that piece, though. All those calories.
Don't eat those processed foods.
Hey, you don't. you don't know where that cat has been. Maybe that cat had a lot of really bad germs on it. And germs just killed him instantly.
This is nothing. But like when Joe brought a pizza as a cat, I was like, that's fucking disgusting. It's just a cat. It's like dander all over the pizza.
Yeah, but at the same time, that pizza still looks good.
You know that's nothing, but it's like, you know what this is? You know what this is? I hate to make this comparison, but you know what this is? You start, because that's what this movie does. It's like you overthink it.
Yeah.
And it's like Cars.
Yeah.
Like where you overthink it, like, wait a minute.
When we need them.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, I overthought this way more than I overthought Cars.
But
way more.
But you kind of had to, because it was such an intellectual movie.
Yeah,
and they were like at the point making you overthink things.
Yeah, and that's fair. I just think that there are a couple too many things that you overthink, and it harms the final product.
Yeah, a little.
That's kind of what my problem is. But that's my piece. There's a whole climax that I didn't care about because I was confused.
At the same time,
go ahead.
I was like, they brought back the idea of the lost souls, where 22 becomes a lost soul, and I knew they were going to bring back the lost souls because that just seemed too creepy to not bring back.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it would have been, and I do like the visuals that come from that. Like,
I like the idea too.
Yeah, I like the idea too that she's like so like brought down that she became a lost soul. And
I just mean the general idea of the lost souls. Like, I really like that idea.
Yeah. Not only that, but like when you Joe goes inside of 22 as a lost soul, and you see their how they imagine all of their teachers and instructors over the years, saying how worthless they are, and then it's like the final boss is Joe himself. It's talking about how worthless you are. It was like how that, I forget what the line was, but just that sort of like that cold hard, like go over there and forget sort of line, but better.
Okay. One last thing, I promise this time. And this is actually a perk of the movie. Although I was laughing, it's not the movie's fault. When Joe said walking, whatever, that's something anybody can do. That's not a purpose. It was a direct quote from the movie. And Wash will know this. The first thing that I thought of was, you are a toy, you can't fly. Okay, I'm sorry, continue.
Okay.
And there's that one point where like Joe confronts the shadowy version of himself, and all he does is pull up the leaf, and then that blows it away. And I'm like, that's like symbolism up there.
Symbolism of
how life. I don't know exactly, but I feel like it's trying to symbolize something.
I was having that thing where like he did the leaf, I was like, what is this?
It's more of a, this seems like a don't hug me, I'm scared, interpret it your own way type of method.
I mean,
I don't think it's that deep.
I keep saying I'm going to stop, and then I keep talking.
Well,
the way that I interpreted it was that, it was as much as number 22 was beating themselves up over how worthless they are. They did legitimately love that experience on Earth.
Yeah.
And seeing the leaf is representative of everything that had happened on Earth.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So when 22, because even though it's not 22 specifically seeing the leaf, everything in 22's mind is what, the mentors are, So when 22's state of mind beating themselves up over how worthless they are, they see that leaf and they remember that thing that gave them value. Yeah. That's what made it go away.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I did like that this was because I think like Random mentioned earlier that like 22 actually having something actually having like their own like arc, and I did like that sort of reveal inside the mind of a soul.
Yeah.
Hey, if this was actually inside the where was joy? Where was sadness, fear, disgust, anger? Free cameo, Pete Doctor. Awful movie.
Yeah, about to be like, where is their soul? Where is the soul Inside Out crossover that we need?
I'm sure there's an Inside Out reference somewhere in there where you see like the colors of the characters in some spot or whatever.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I'm sure of it. But anyway, I did like that reveal of like, because through the whole thing, like 22 was very sarcastic, and just like pessimistic. It's like pessimistic and like a cool and like a I'm too cool for life. And it's when you go inside that you reveal that like all those teachers telling them that they are like useless, like that actually ate at them, and they were just not willing to admit it. And they were just thinking like, oh, I like being annoying, I like being useless.
Yeah, they're coping.
It's coping, exactly. Yeah, that was quite interesting. I like that.
It really made you understand the character more, and that's why I can't say I don't like 22. Because in the end, she's a well-written character. They are a well-written character.
Yeah. And this is definitely something where when I rewatch this, I'm gonna have to pay more attention, because for a while I was not into 22 as at least in terms of the performance / direction / writing of the character. I felt it was like he's sarcastic, but maybe in the second watch I'll start to see some of the more layers to it.
Yeah, there's definitely some layers in there. They're very hidden by Tina Fey's humor, but like, or like how she delivers the lines. But there's layers there.
Yeah.
But on that note,
like an Olga,
they have layers.
When you were talking about issues you had with the ending, I thought you were going to mention my issue with the ending, which
I mean, this might be shared. It's just like I said before, that was my big one. Okay. What's yours, The Watch?
Yeah, what's yours?
Mine was simply that, like, Joe make the big sacrifice. He's right up there to the conveyor belt, and then the counselor said, "Hey, psych, you're actually just gonna go live again."
And that was literally like the last minute.
That was movie. That felt really. I mean, I get it. I get why it's there, especially for the story. And I also get that what they were setting up, that like Joe had taught the counselors. It was like, okay, it still feels rushed. It still feels really out of place.
I mean,
see, I probably would have been more annoyed at that point, but once he was on the conveyor belt, all I thought was, oh my god, he actually died. So wait a minute. How did the hippies go into the zone?
Anyway, I kind of wonder what would happen if they just like killed him, like, and where he just ended the movie and died, and they had this like sad montage of Joe dying, or not even Joe dying. I don't think it would even be sad. I think it would be like just a montage of like what we saw in his life, like in the beginning, like that whole like life moment scene. But we see a montage of it, like in a like more happier light and tone, and like
I think it would have been
memories.
I don't think it would have been sad at all. Like he found what he had wanted with life. He had achieved his ultimate goal, and I like a lot of the ending. I mean, maybe change on rewatch because most of the ending I was confused. But I interpreted it as, you know, he's ready. He's ready to move on.
That's what I thought.
He's lived his life. He's ready to go. Yeah. At the beginning, he was scared, running away, saying it's not my time, and at the end, he complete 180. He accepted it. He was ready.
Yeah.
And I thought the movie ending on that note would have been gorgeous, but PG rating.
Yeah,
pulled the rug on it. Like, no, never mind.
It might have been a bit too dark, and if it didn't happen, we wouldn't have gotten that funny moment with Terry. So.
I mean, we got plenty of other funny moments.
We got plenty of other funny moments. I mean, that was fantastic.
I stand by that. I still wouldn't have changed anything about that joke.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wouldn't have changed about the ending. The actual like execution of like, hey, never mind, we can just go back. Was just like, why? Especially it felt like less motivated.
And I was thinking about it, and it's like, what? They can just do that? If somebody dies, they could just send them back? Yeah. And of course, that sends me right back on the line of track was, oh, well, was he just on the piano when he died? Did anybody discover his body? Was he, like, dead, and then he came back to...
I think nobody would have found his body for like a while. I think people would.
Yeah. Isn't that's terrifying?
Exactly. Like because like
it was the music that killed him. He died doing what he loved, playing piano.
I imagine that like Roger Rabbit style, like they dropped an anvil on him. It was the music that killed him.
Oh yeah, the music that show killed him. Somebody dropped the whole piano on him.
A tune killed my brother.
It's like that Ed and Eddie joke. It's like that Ed and Eddie joke where Kevin drops a piano on Eddie.
or in
the mother,
SpongeBob.
The mother like is
hey, why do you have that piano?
Where'd you get that piano?
The mother is in a jazz club. And she's like, a piano killed my son, and she bans music, and she bonds with the grandmother from Coco.
There's a giant bell somehow in this jazz band. It's kind of weird.
You see, that's how he dies in the future.
That's how he dies in the future. You die by your music.
Future.
He was
like when you're ready
piano.
when you're ready to go, all you have to do is just play some 4 chords and then just play some chopstick.
I want to be just like him.
Oh my goodness.
I have a question.
What's your question?
How do you feel about not knowing what happened to 22?
I like that.
Oh, I liked it a lot. I
like that too.
I think it would have ruined the whole. It would have ruined the whole thing if we found out.
Yeah, if it was like, oh my god, is that 22? Then it would be like, fuck off. That would be like Star Wars.
Come on, there's
logic.
millions of souls born every day. How do you know it's them?
Exactly. Like it would be like Star Wars logic of just like everybody like the whole universe centers around like 12 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, fuck off.
I'm really glad they didn't go with that because they could have easily done it.
Yeah.
But the fact that we don't know what happens to them is actually really good.
There's an implication that they drop off into China, which makes sense because that would be like quite a large population. So yeah, I think they were trying to like distances like don't even try.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked, and I also liked we talked about it ironically at the very beginning of the podcast that like at the very end, Joe just kind of like stepped out and he's just like, okay, I'm ready, and that's it. You don't see if he gets a new gig. You don't see if he goes back to the teacher, to the education job. You don't know where he goes from then on. He just walked out of his apartment and he's ready to start his life again. Not
just start his life again, but also enjoy every minute of it.
Yeah.
Literally, those are the words he used.
Yeah, enjoy every minute of it. Yeah.
Since they kept him alive, I'm glad that they left it ambiguous, but they also seemed like, wait, that's it?
Yeah, that was some of the reactions I saw, but I kind of preferred that was it.
I kind of with Kirby fan, I kind of wish that he just was ready to die.
Yeah,
I felt like it would have been a more emotional moment.
Sorry. I interrupted. You go.
I feel like yes, it's the more kid friendly version, and it does work for him to live. Like it's not like oh my god, the film is ruined now. But at the same time, I'm like, and I'm glad he gets to enjoy life now with a whole new fresh sense of lens. But at the same time, the fact of him coming to terms with a life for at one point he thought his life was meaningless, and then he does the gig of his dreams, and then he realizes that his life was never meaningless all along. It was beautiful, and then him like, okay, I lived my life. Everything's good. That would have been a great storybook ending, but at the same time, that would have been like possibly send the message of, okay, you filled up your dreams. Now you can die now, which that's not the point of the movie at all.
Oh,
the point of the movie is to enjoy the little things in life, and even if that aren't your dreams. Because if he died after achieving his dream, that might have sent the wrong signal. If that makes any sense.
They would have had to go with a different, different premise perhaps, because it's because it's similar to Coco in that it's about death, but it's not as celebratory of death. In fact, it fears death quite a lot.
Oh yeah, that's true. And that actually adds up very well because I think all of us said that was one of the things we loved about Coco.
Yeah, that it was so celebratory that it was like, hey, everybody's dead, let's have a party.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was a great party.
Yeah, it's still sad, but it's like parties are parties.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of like Lee Unquist's cameo in Coco. It's like, what did I miss? Anyway, yeah, it's. I don't know how you would solve it with that in mind because it's like they want to have both a sacrifice and they want to have the message of like live your life to the fullest. And those are opposite.
Yeah,
those are opposite messages.
So this isn't so much a fix, but there is this actually lines up pretty well with what we were talking about at the beginning of this. There is something that I've been thinking of a lot ever since watching the movie, thinking about the ending. Mm-hmm. And like I said, this isn't a fix that I would specifically give to a movie, but it's just something that it's like, oh, like, you know, it could have had a message or it could have had an impact this strong. It is The Simpsons. It's good Simpsons. It is the episode where Homer eats an unprepared fish that still had poison inside.
Yes.
The doctor tells him that he has a lot less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
Because of how long ago he ate the fish. Good joke. But he's gonna die the next morning. And Homer lives his last day, spends it doing everything that, you know, he's always wanted to do, which is mostly little things. You know, the little things in life that is in character for Homer to love. Spend it with his family, drink at the bar, do that stuff. And then the night of, everyone in the family is asleep. He says goodbye to them, tells Bart that he likes his sheets, and he sits down on the couch, and from behind you see it looks like Homer dies. But yeah. Marge comes in the next morning, she sees the drool, it's still warm. Turns out Homer's still alive. And what I've been thinking of so much ever since this ending is when Homer says, from now on, I'm gonna live every day to the fullest. And then the next scene, it like cuts to the credits where it's Homer sitting on the couch, eating snacks, and watching TV. And that's the entire credit roll. And it's been stuck in my mind for a while because it's incredible, it's brilliant, it's The Simpsons. But it's been like etched into my soul ever since seeing this ending, because it's like I can't even fully explain it because it's the same deal with living your life to the fullest and everything, but they're so different. And as weird as it is seeing, like, you know, a Pixar movie against The Simpsons, but it's like, you know, The Simpsons was just so much more consistent with it. And I remember that whole episode, even though it's like, you know, oh, they're not going to kill Homer. You know that.
Yeah.
But it's like the whole episode, it's like, you know, everything worked. Mm-hmm. Even the credits gag. It's just like it all worked and it all stuck. And it's like, I want to feel that way about this. And it's not just me being confused about, oh, did he die or not? It's what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I want to, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready for final thoughts, or did we have any last words?
I have I want to talk real quick about the human designs, because it is quite different from the usual Pixar stuff. That it's a much more stylized human design on the planet Earth. What did we think of the human design?
I like them.
Me too.
I like them very much. The one nagging thing I had was do you remember the cat handler, the one who was in charge of the therapy cat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys remember like Horton Hears a Who, or like the Lorax? Like, it reminded me of like a Dr. Seuss character, like her having like a gigantic mouth. It was like way too big, and it's just making me...
I guess. I mean, you know, the one thing that the Dr. Seuss movies kind of handle okay are the designs, but that's not soul design.
Yeah, it didn't match quite as well as the other stuff. I felt that was a little odd. Anyway, Was there anything else in my notes? Yeah, I mentioned the cat stuff. I mentioned Whoville. We went through the whole thing without talking about Joe as the black protagonist. I guess because we're not really very qualified to talk on that subject.
We're not, but do note that this is yet another movie in that gigantic pantheon of movies where you have a black protagonist and they're not black for the whole movie. They're something else.
Yeah.
You gotta love it. They're inclusive, guys. You gotta love this stuff.
Especially like when he came back as a cat, I was like, oh no.
Yes. Oh my god, I was like, no.
Yeah,
I get why they did it for the plot.
Like when he came back to the body, it was like, oh my god, they're gonna do. Oh.
It's like if we had movies where it's like the white person went through this, it would be like, well, there are alternatives, but it's like, no, it's always people of color. It's never white people, ever.
It's not even just like CGI stuff, like freaking like the Princess and the Frog.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, come on.
To be fair, at least it's not like it's not like 3/4 of the movie like Princess and the Frog was.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
There's a lot of moments where Joe shines as Joe.
Yeah, and I think. I mean, I don't want to say black culture. I don't want to say black culture as much as New York culture, but there is a lot more culture in this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Compared to something like, I'm just gonna say it because Wash brought it up like 4 times, but Spies in Disguise.
Yes.
Will Smith as a pigeon. Yeah. 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 That stuff was. Yeah. All
right.
That's all I can really say because again I don't think
are we gonna end it on Spies in Disguise?
Yeah, but final thoughts.
Is this the Spies in Disguise of Pixar movies?
No. Final thoughts.
Random. Do you want to start?
Yeah.
I really like this movie a lot more than I thought I would. Do I think it's like I think it's definitely one of the most intellectual Pixar films out there, where it makes you think, both good and bad. At points, but I see more of the good of it than the bad of it. I like the characters. I like Joe. I enjoyed 22 more now after this conversation than before, but I enjoyed 22. She was funny, and regardless, and she is a well-written character, even if you don't think she will be at first. I liked the animation, of course. The Soul animation was good, but my god, New York looked phenomenal. It looked phenomenal. Pizza looked phenomenal. The piano fingers looked phenomenal. And just like the music is phenomenal. There's so many good things about this movie, but I don't know if I would ever call it my favorite. I don't know if it beats Coco. I don't think it does yet. I need to rewatch it again. But it'll be up there for sure. But I need to rewatch it again to find out.
Okay.
I'm definitely curious. I mean, obviously not now. I'm not going to ask you now. You've seen the movie once. But, when a couple months pass, you rewatch it and we do the actual episode on it.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're saying Coco, but, like, I'm curious about, like, Up.
Yeah. I'm on the same boat. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
It's... I don't know. It was weird watching it on Disney Plus. Especially in years now where I've watched Pixar films in theaters just for us or for the podcast, but it was still nice, and I really am happy I watched it, and I'm glad it exists. I want Pete Docter to make more films. I know he's a lot busier now, and he's pretty much at the head of Pixar now. So
he is now.
Which he honestly deserves because he's one of the best of the original. Probably my favorite of the original directors from Pixar. At least, definitely my favorite now that Lee Unkrich left. But yeah, he's a good guy. He makes good stories, and I cannot wait to see. First, we did Inside the Mind, then we did Inside the Soul. Now we're gonna do Inside the Body.
Well, first we did Inside the Monsters University, the Monster Incorporated. Hello. Then we did Inside the House of a Lonely Old Man.
And then
we did Inside the Mind. And then we did Inside the Soul.
Now we're going to do Inside the Body, and it will be the Inside Trilogy.
So now
the Inside Trilogy.
Inside Trilogy. Now I'm thinking about Squidtastic Voyage when SpongeBob and Patrick go inside Squidward's body. Wash,
final thoughts?
Yes. My final thoughts are I enjoyed this movie very much. I don't think it ranks among the. I definitely don't think it didn't hit home quite as hard as Inside Out did for me. I'm not sure how high I would rank this. There definitely would need to be a would need to do a rewatch for this one. In fact, but I would push it on this just so I could go watch the movie again because I really want to really want to settle in on this more. Very good. I like the characters. I enjoyed the world. I enjoyed the counselors. I didn't get to mention the designs of the counselors, that they're like a 2-dimensional being in 3D space, which was quite interesting. I quite liked that, especially like that like you see they have the shots where you see the back of their head and you can still see their face through the head because it's metaphorical, and I like that. And I like the counselors because they're very funny. Terry is Terry. It has a good amount of. It was more comedic than I was expecting going into it. Like I was expecting something more heady, but it actually goes pretty deep into the comedy and stuff. Of course, the jazz music is phenomenal. Score is phenomenal. I definitely want to rewatch it because I feel like there was something. There was a something missing that was keeping this from being from me feeling like really like, oh my god, sold on this. Maybe it could be that I'm not watching it in the theater. I didn't have that immersion as I usually would. I'll have to see, but I'm definitely gonna watch it again. I definitely would recommend you watch it. Take with it what you will. Take its lessons what you will. Maybe don't think too hard about it. That can be a danger in its own way.
Yes, don't think too hard about the intellectual movie.
Yeah, exactly. Don't think too hard about it. Kirby-fan, what about you?
I did really like it. I want to preface that.
Yeah.
I feel like I should bring that up because I've been pretty negative. I mean, I've been very positive as well.
Yeah.
It's just it's one of those it's like Random said, it really is a movie that makes you think. And I like thinking and not getting confused. This movie has problems. I think we can all agree on that. Every movie has problems.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that about The Incredibles. This movie's problems come from the wrong places because it's when you start thinking more about it. You can say things like, in The Incredibles, Bob has super strength. Wasn't that, how can his muscles withstand that? And it's just like, that's when you're getting into the nitpicking territory. If you want to do that, that's fine. It's fun. I recommend you try to do it at some point because it's actually really fun, but it's not actual substantial problems with the movie.
It's not a criticism.
Yeah. When there are genuine plot holes that can very much distract from the experience, especially with a movie with subject matters like this one, it just gets it sticks out. And that kind of feeling of the problem sticking out kind of pervaded throughout the whole movie for me. I know Wash said, I don't know why this movie didn't stick with me so much. I know why it didn't stick with me, and it's because the whole time there were just things that were nagging at me.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you want to know what they were, I spent the last 2 hours talking about them. But to distract from what the movie did right, would be even more confusing than the movie's plot holes. Great characters, great animation, great. I love New York. I love the New York music. I'm not crazy about the Soul world, but you know, the Terrys and the Terry singular and the Jerrys plural are a lot of fun. As Wash said, I love their designs. Even going over some things that we didn't talk about very much. We didn't really talk about Dorothea Williams a lot. We didn't talk about Curly all that much.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot to like here. And while I definitely think the New York stuff is substantially better than the Soul stuff, you know, there's a lot to like on both sides.
Yeah.
And to say the movie is not good would be incorrect. It is a very good movie. I remember when I finished it for the first time, this was pretty bad. When I finished it for the first time, I was thinking about it and thinking about what I liked, what I didn't like, and it was like, man, I did not feel this conflicted when I finished like Onward. Like, do I like Onward more? And I could tell you this, no. This is better than Onward.
Okay.
But it was just one of those things that, like, as I thought about the movie more, it's like, its flaws stood out a lot more, but its strengths stood out a lot more too. And as much as I've been harping on these flaws, I am the kind of person that it's like, okay, these flaws, they're here, but if the movie's good enough, I don't care. Cars is my number 5. So yes, even though when I first watched the movie, I kind of was like, all right, I'm gonna go into the conversation saying I think it's good, like kind of good, maybe. But the more that I thought about it, the more that it sat. I can't call it incredible just because, you know, those problems do stick out a lot, but I would say that this was a great movie. I don't know if I would recommend it for everybody, but I would definitely recommend it for those that can ignore the glaring plot holes. And they are glaring.
Yeah.
But if you can ignore those, easy recommendation. Pete Docter, another hit.
Definitely another hit. Within like just the works of Pete Docter, I'm not sure where it would rank. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try because I've only seen it once. So
that's fair. Yeah, I definitely need to see this a second time, maybe even a third time. I don't know what because I don't know when we're gonna be planning the a proper episode of this. We'll give ourselves some more time. Because it's just been a week.
We'll do some soul searching.
But yeah, I'm glad I watched this film, and I'm glad we got to experience 2 Pixar films, and we won't be able to do this again until when's the next film coming out?
Hold on. Damn it. Hold on. So, I'm gonna answer that question right now. The next film is going to be what the heck is it? Oh, what? Oh, okay. So the next one is going to be a film called Luca.
Oh yes.
That is going to be in 2021, planned for June. And then next year we're going to have 2 Pixar films. One, and just like 2020, they're both planned for March and June. So we'll see. But it's gonna be Turning Red, which is directed by Domi Chi, who did Bao. Do you remember the short Bao?
Yep, I remember.
Yep,
of course.
And then Lightyear. The Buzz Lightyear.
Oh.
Yep, we're already there.
Yep.
What happened to no?
It's not a sequel.
It's not a sequel. Like, this is how they're gonna get us. We're gonna get Mater and the Ghost like the movie. It's not a sequel. It's gonna happen. Yeah. And we're gonna have to watch it.
Yeah. That's how we'll get Cars 4. It'll be Mater. No, it'll be Doc. Because I'm making about Doc Hudson, even though the voice actor passed away. But it'll be a younger Doc Hudson, so that'll be excuse to change the voice actor. Anyway, I don't want to think about it.
Okay.
I don't want to think about it.
The only thing I'm gonna say, maybe we'll talk about this when we get to when we revisit. But the one thing I can say about Luca is that it is directed by the person who did the La Luna short. Beautiful short.
I thought you said they were directed by the. No, that's the red one. Never mind.
That's the red. That's the Turning Red. Yeah. Luca is gonna be. In fact, from what I understand, they're both transformation, like coming of age transformation films. Luca is, I believe, about a mermaid, and Turning Red is about a girl who transforms into a red panda.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna go. And then Lightyear is Lightyear. It's what a Buzz Lightyear movie would be within the Toy Story universe.
They already did that with an animated film and a TV series.
I guess that doesn't count.
Nope. Does anyone remember the Buzz Lightyear cartoon?
Of course I remember the Buzz Lightyear animated
where they had a TV movie with Tim Allen as Buzz, and then for the rest of the series it was Patrick Warburton.
I don't remember the Tim Allen doing the voice for the TV movie, but I do remember the series, yes.
I had the VHS back in the day, and okay. It was Tim Allen. And then they released a Disney Channel version where they replaced all the lines with Patrick Warburton saying them. And there's a video of comparing them side by side, and it's so weird to hear them back to back.
Send that to me, please.
I will.
I do want to see that, actually.
So basically hearing Joe from Family Guy or Crunk being Buzz Lightyear, and it's just weird, and it's just off.
So all I have to say about Lightyear, sighing aside, is that I went into Cars 2 with an open enough mind. I think I can go into Lightyear with an open enough mind.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's gonna be coming out 2022. We got time. They got time. And we'll just see where this goes. This is also like Lightyear, just like a smack in the face. Like the promise was the next 5 films, and that started with Onward. So Lightyear was the last of that promise, and it's a spin-off.
Yep.
Yep. Unless they delay it, which all these films could be delayed.
All these can be delayed, absolutely.
Or even canceled. Newt was canceled.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully that nothing's gonna happen yet. I did see like in the footnotes here that like a football club Barcelona entered talks with Pixar to create a film. I don't think that's actually gonna go through.
We'll see what happens. Anyway,
thank you all for joining us on this journey.
On this soul-searching journey, yes.
We already did the joke.
It's been fun. Our what we thought 79-minute episode turned out to be 2 hours.
Well, that's what happens when we don't have a time.
It's okay. Anyway, I'm Random Bystander here.
I am the Wash.
And I'm
I like the. Oh, I forgot to mention the hippie going down with the ship, and then when he goes back to the real world, he just does the salute.
Yes,
that would be the.
And on that note, we're going down with this ship with the end of this episode.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Good character. Goodbye.
Bye bye.